Precious Lord, take my hand. I am the great-granddaughter and granddaughter of sharecroppers. They were proud and hardworking people who planted and harvested rows and rows of cotton in the rich Arkansas soil. They were sustained by their faith and their family. I'm the granddaughter of Mozell Stevenson. Gospel music, Mahalia Jackson, Precious Lord, Take My Hand. Grandma Mozell hummed softly as she stirred her big pot of collard greens, sweet potato pies cooling on the counter, big fancy hats that the church mothers call Sunday crowns. Me in my patent leather shoes, holding Grandma's hand as we went to church. Grandma left Arkansas on a segregated railroad car and moved to St. Louis. She grew rows and rows of roses in our stately Victorian home that was more than 100 years old. In me, she cultivated a fierce independence and a deep desire for knowledge. She was my superhero and protector. She was strong. She ended every conversation with, "Be sweet, baby." During the week, she worked at a hospital, transporting patients and helping in the operating recovery room. I wanted to help people too. I wanted to teach my grandpa George to read and write. I wanted to understand why he was so sad and why being a black man in America made him so angry, that he hurt Grandma Mozell, my mother, and me. I left the old Victorian house in St. Louis to go to school. Then the call came. It was cancer. The last night, friends and 3 generations of family members crowded into her bedroom. In the closet, her big fancy hats. I held her hand. She quietly passed with grace and dignity as she had lived. There was a whirlwind of activity as we prepared for her homegoing services. Grandma wore a white suit and a white hat. Her casket was light heavenly blue. Gospel music, Mahalia Jackson, Precious Lord, Take My Hand. I'm tired, I'm weak, I'm alone. Through the storm, through the night, lead me to the light. Take my hand, precious Lord, lead me home. We sang and we sang. At home, a big pot of collard greens on the stove, sweet potato pies cooling on the counter. Now I'm a university professor. I plant and harvest ideals and books. I write about domestic violence, sexual assault, and intergenerational trauma. I try to understand how my grandma Mozell was so resilient and why my grandpa George was so sad. I stay grounded. I'm the great-granddaughter and granddaughter of sharecroppers.